Hey guys, I hope you're having a good day or good morning, good night, whenever this is catching you. I'm just going to be drinking my coffee here and maybe start a little series where I just drink coffee and talk. But today I just want to talk about AI and what I think it's going to do to game development and how it's going to impact actual video games. So first, I already think that AI is being used as a tool to speed up the process of development. I, for one, as somebody who's been building a game, have basically just used ChatGPT to help me build the entire thing. I use Godot Engine and I've made a 2D platformer. And anything that I needed to do, I just asked ChatGPT, how do I do this? I said, how do you make the character bounce off of the enemy when the player lands on the enemy? And it'd tell me exactly how to do it. Um, I would say, how do I make these boxes float up in the air and then target the player and fly at the player? And it would tell me how to do that. I would say, how do I get a plant to shoot seeds horizontally? And it'd tell me how to do that. And, it helped me make the physics for the jumping and all that stuff. And everything that I put in that game was assisted with ChatGPT. If it wasn't for ChatGPT, who knows how long it would have taken me to make everything that I did in that game. So from firsthand experience, I do feel like ChatGPT can be a huge assisting tool for new developers who are really, noobish to coding. This will help them get their foot in, so to speak. It's not the most perfect system, obviously, because one thing is if you don't have any knowledge of coding, you could run into errors and stuff like that you're not really sure how to fix. But it could at least get you started. And I could see maybe people who actually know how to program. I'm sure there's uses for them, for them to use ChatGPT. I'm sure they could ask it to write like just simple things, just complete the code for like, clicking a button or something. Make it faster than if they were to do it, maybe. Maybe they could do it better, faster. It is true that a programmer is going to be able to have more customizable mastery over the nuances a lot more easily and efficiently. And they're going to understand how to structure it better. If you don't know how to structure your program, you don't know how to use extensions and classes and inheritances and stuff like this, you might be making your code way more complex than what it needs to be. So there still needs to be a foundation of understanding of programming, but it still helps you if you're not really good at it. And if you work with the ChatGPT enough, it'll guide you in the right steps. You just have to talk to it in the right way. You have to ask the right questions and you have to guide it. But I think it's a wonderful tool for new developers for sure. And as it gets more powerful, I can see developers using it to make assets. I could see like let's say you're making an MMO, right? And you have 10,000 characters in the game, and you can't voice act all of them. It takes too long. It costs a lot of money. So a lot of the characters in the game just don't really say anything. They might have like a stock voice that all of like gnomes, all the gnomes have the same voice, but most of them don't talk. So with AI, which they've already done this in World of Warcraft, there's a add-on you can download that gives all the AI in the game a voice. So when you go up and get a quest and the quest log pops up. Normally you'd have to read it, but now with the add-on, the AI, excuse me, the AI reads it for you. That's really cool. It still sounds robotic a little bit still. A little, it's obviously not the best voice acting, but it's at least something. Something so you don't have to read it and it feels, like the character has a voice. So that's pretty cool. And as that gets better, we'll be able to just, create voices for characters that we don't have a voice actor for. I think that would be cool. I also think we could see like AI map generated environments, which we already kind of have that, like, with Minecraft and, different games do this where they have random map generators. But I think AI can take it to another level. Let's say like we have a virtual Dungeons and Dragons game and the AI is the dungeon master. And let's say you make a character and then you just say, hey, AI, make a random campaign for me and my friends. So then the AI does that. The AI is like, okay, it makes a world for you, it makes characters for you, it writes the script, it makes all the enemies, does all the damage calculations and all the statistics and all the stuff. And it essentially creates a whole world for you that you can play Dungeons and Dragons in. I definitely think this is something that's going to be coming. And that'll be really cool because it's endless content that you and your friends can play in. And there's always going to be endless variety. So like that's what's going to be really fascinating about AI is the amount of variety and unlimited potential of its generation. To be able to generate an infinite amount of things. And I also think it's going to make the intelligence of the enemies and stuff that we go against more advanced, more lifelike, where the AI is now reacting in game, like in real time to what we're doing. And it's not just going off a specified like program code, like in World of Warcraft, again, for example, like how the mobs just walk around back and forth, like they have like a set path or like a parameter that they go around and they spawn in the same area. And all they do is basically, if you get close enough to them, they attack you with the same attacks. There's no like complexity or randomness to their movements. Their behavior is very predictable because it's a very small amount of code. So like I'm gonna feel like we're gonna start seeing new gameplay emerge where how like newer MMOs have come out where like it's more action based. It's not just click on the enemy, then click on the skill, wait for your skill to be done so that the next skill can play out. I think it's going to be more, if it's more action based, the AI is going to be able to see how you play. It's like, oh, well, this character's standing far away right now, so I'm going to use my ranged attacks. And it's like, okay, he's using a magic barrier. All right, so I'm actually going to close the gap and hit him with a sword instead, or something, and it'll just allow for more, complexity and more nuance and more adaptability from the AI. And I think this will cause non-repetitive behaviors, which will be really fun because it'll always keep you on your toes. You won't fully be sure as to what the AI is going to do. There'll be that element of surprise every single time. And yeah, I think that'll be really exciting. Let's see. I do think we're going to be seeing a lot more crappy games, especially with this vibe coding thing where people could just type in sentences and make a game. I think a lot of people are going to be trying to sell really shitty games because now anybody can do it. And if they just rely on AI completely to do everything, it's going to be really crappy. And yeah, there's going to be a surge of just crappy games because, yeah, anybody can do it. But I do think we're going to be seeing better games. You know, the ceiling for which we can achieve is going to be higher. It's just a matter of, you know, are there people who are passionate about games and passionate about creating games behind the developers, you know, behind the developing company, you know, because like if you get a company like EA, you know, or a company that's just worried about making money, it's like, yeah, they might put out like maybe a kind of polished game, but it's like, it's not going to have that passion, you know, you're going to feel it, you know, whereas like FromSoft or something, it's like when they release a game, it's like, oh, they actually like really care about games. Like you can just feel it, you know? And it's not riddled with microtransactions. It's not all about like, you know, making the most amount of money possible. It's about making a good experience, a great experience for the players. And they're revered for that, you know? And so any company, any indie developers who are truly passionate, they're going to shine through still. So I don't think, you know, it's going to be like a dark age for gaming or anything. I just think there's going to be more bad games. But there's going to be better quality games than what we're used to. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much about it. I'm sure there's definitely so many different things that could come out of AI being used in gaming. You could have allies who are actually intelligent, you know, and who actually have like some kind of competency. You know, they're not just these stupid AI bots just dragging you down, you know, and they could talk to you and, you know, chat with you in game and respond to you, you know, depending on what you say. Like if you get mad at the AI, maybe they'll, you know, rage at you and they'll quit or something. They'll just leave the server or something, you know. So yeah, that'll be cool to see, just actual like engaging conversations with AI intelligence, which is another thing I think will be added. Was there'll be more possibilities with interactions of NPCs. So like it'll no longer just be like, you know, 4 dialogue options. It'll be like voice chat where you talk into the game and the AI uses proximity chat or something and it could pick up what you're saying and it could respond in real time. It'll be really good for games like, you know, like an Elder Scrolls game or something, or like a Fallout game. It'll be really good for things like that because it'll allow for more options and more possibilities. And yeah, I think that'll be really cool because, you know, instead of being like, oh yeah, I'm trying to think of an example. Like, oh, like it's like somebody says, hey, why are you at this town? You know, and then normally you get the option. It's like, oh, I'm here because I'm here on a quest, or I'm just sightseeing, or what's it to you? You know, and those are the 30 things you could say. But now it's like, well, actually, I'm going to say, oh, well, that's a very curious question of you, traveler. I was actually just wandering through your neck of the woods when I happened to grow a curiosity for what this town might look like. So I stumbled upon in to feast my eyes upon this novelty. And you're the first person I've talked to. What say you? Would you like to show me the nearby tavern? You know, and then And then the character, the NPC will be like, oh, it'll respond, and it'll be like, yeah, let's go to the Bloody Dragon or something, and grab a tankard of ale. I don't know, something like that. And then you go to the tavern, and then you go up to the bartender, you order the beer that you want, and you start drinking, and then next thing you know, you're talking to the NPC, and you're just like, yeah, so I came in from Carvin Hall, and that's my hometown. And then somebody overhears you in the pub, and a big orc comes up, and he's like, Tarvin Hall, and he's like, I'm from Tarvin Hall, and then you have so on and so forth, and then it's like a fight breaks out or something, because that orc knows you from the past somehow, and he hates you because you stole from his shop or something, and that'd just be so cool to see, just that level of realism, that level of randomness. You just never know what's gonna happen because the AI is constantly aware of what you're doing in the game. And that'd be really cool. So yeah, that's pretty much what I'm most excited for, is just the possibilities of this new gameplay that we can see, of just being able to say whatever we want in game and watch it affect the game world, in not just a static way, but a very lively way, a very adaptable way, a very malleable way. And yeah, so I'm sure that'll be coming in the next 5 years or so. As technology gets cheaper and AI becomes cheaper and it becomes more implementable into a game, that'll be, yeah, we'll see that for sure. But yeah, other than that, it's pretty much all. If you guys have any cool ideas of what you think AI can do, let me know in the comments, and catch you guys in the next video. Peace.